Are you considering downsizing your home? It's an overwhelming process. Where do you begin?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Cadu, residential real estate broker with Royal LePage Village. I understand the stress and anxiety seniors experience. Taking the important step of selling a family home is overwhelming. That's why I'm supported by a team of professionals in downsizing, home repairs, and staging. Please visit my website at movingsenior.ca or call 514-885-3524.
Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Lianas Senior Transition Support, helping you navigate home care and senior residences.
And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Delvecchio here, specializing in life transitions, home care in the senior living industry.
And I'm Corey Surratt, a clinical social worker and author of Someone Died, Now What?
Hey, Corey, I have to get a shout out to a wonderful lady, Ruth Pelletier, and also the Plima's Montreal Cultural Day Association. They're putting on their very first production of something called Seniors with Swag. Style, wisdom, attitude, and grace. It's a wellness program for seniors and other members of the community that's going to be happening on June 11th at 1 p.m., full day event. Good on them. They're getting people out, and it's going to be a nice, wonderful time. And all you need to do, if you want to find out a little bit more, just simply Google Seniors with Swag, and there you'll see an Eventbrite page. It's only $30, meals included, fashion show, speakers. It really is a nice event. So I wanted to get a little shout out for them.
Very nice. Good on them for doing that. So, as speaking of seniors, welcome to our Helping Moms and Dads segment, which is our portion of the show where we do topics that are supporting the sandwich generation with really actually some very unique topics and very dynamic guests. And today is no exception. So, Matt, what do we have this week?
We wanted to talk about, Corey, discussing the importance of updating your legal documents as you age. Couples get divorced. Family conflicts arise over time. There's health issues that can occur, especially cognitive-related diseases such as Alzheimer's. Estate planning, financial issues, they all change over time. So we wanted to bring in notary extraordinaire. She's been on our show before, Nadia Dirigi, to help us out. Nadia, welcome back to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Nadia. Thank you for doing this on a Saturday. I know you are extremely busy, like many notaries. I know you in particular are very, very busy. Throw in a family life with a couple young kids, and boy, oh boy, we do appreciate you taking some time here. Let's start you off right away with, why is it important to have a will?
Well, there are so many reasons why a will is important to have. Mostly it lets you maintain control over your affairs and allows you to make decisions ahead of time regarding your property. So things like who will inherit from you, that's the obvious one, but how will your property be divided amongst these people? Who will you appoint as your liquidator? Do you want to pay your liquidator a salary? It helps your heirs also receive their shares as quickly as possible. It helps eliminate extra costs around settling your affairs. And it's a good tool to help decrease taxes so that your heirs receive, again, as much as of your money as possible.
So I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I'm just curious as to what percentage of people do not actually have a will in place?
Surprisingly, about half of all Canadians still do not have a will in place.
Wow.
So we're not talking here only about notarial wills, but just wills in general. So no instructions whatsoever.
Yeah, a little mind-boggling when you hear that number, and I've heard it before. In fact, I'm doing an article that's going to be published next week in the Suburban on this topic. In doing my research, just taking that one step further, about 1/3 of people 35 and over have not yet updated their will. And this is what we wanted to bring about on this show. It's one thing having the will, and only half of Canadians have it. And when you do have a will, you're not necessarily done. Right, Nadia? I mean, you do have to update this. And it's equally important. We talk about seniors and heirs and so on. But Nadia, it's just as important to have a will if you have young children, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think like the younger population is living through many life changes, and life happens very fast for them. And it's really important, especially with young children, It'll allow you to name a guardian to any minor children or even children with special needs. You'll want to make sure that you have provisions in place for them. So what age do you want them to inherit at? Who's going to manage that for them? While they're still dependent, they're not capable of managing money. So this allows you to select a trustee to handle the money for them. And also a will is a really good tool to make sure that your spouse will maintain full control of the family assets if you have minor children.
That's the voice of Nadia Derigi. She is a notary, and she has given us her time on this Saturday afternoon to talk about the importance of updating our legal documents. Nadia, you know me already to know I deal with grief and loss, and it's a nightmare when people don't have wills, and it's difficult enough to navigate the grief process. Add in all the external factors like having to settle estates, it becomes exponentially more difficult. So you have those challenges, and then you have things like common law relationships. So let me ask you something. What happens if someone's in a common law relationship and they don't have a will?
So that's a really important question because I see this often at my office. It's a common misconception that common law spouses are actually equal to married spouses under the law. However, that's not true. And a common law spouse is not considered an heir if there's no will. So they will not inherit at all unless you name them in your will. So writing a will is actually one of the best ways that you can protect your common law spouse and make sure that they inherit something, if not everything, after you die.
So amazing. A lot of people do not know that. And here we are in Quebec, where we're probably the largest percentage of people living in common law relationships. And it's a little scary if you think about half of people not having the will. You could put yourself at risk. So even common law relationships without a will, it's a problem. So have that tough conversation right now as you look across the kitchen table or the driver's seat. And I know, Corey, you wanted to mention something too.
I actually want to ask, what happens when you don't update your will?
Well, updating your will is basically like, cleaning out your closet. You want to make sure that it still fits. You want to make sure that since the last time you wrote your will, you haven't gone through a major life change. So death in the family, a divorce, or birth of another child. You always want to make sure that the will is written so that it protects you for your life right now. So things happen. It's important every so often to call your notary or even just pull out the documents that you have and have a look, make sure that everything in the document is still pertinent and still relevant.
Now, Nadia, I wanted to ask you, this is a question I get so often. People think, I've got a power of attorney. I'm good to go for my parents or grandparents, what have you. And we're going to get into some details of the difference of a power of attorney and protection mandate. But at a 30,000-foot level, Nadia, what is the difference between a power of attorney and protection mandate?
So there are two main differences when you're looking at a power of attorney and a protection mandate. And it can be confusing because they look very similar when you're looking at them. The first main difference is the capacity of the person giving the power. So is this person capable of giving this power, or are they in a legally vulnerable situation where they have been declared incapable by their doctor? So power of attorney can be used right away by anybody who has legal capacity, whereas a mandate cannot be used right away, and it will be signed in anticipation of incapacity and can only be used once your incapacity is declared. The other main difference is the scope of responsibilities. With power of attorney, we're only going to be talking about property. So management of things like banking transactions, things like contact with provincial and federal government agencies, access to safety deposit. But a mandate's going to also include not only property, but also your person, so your healthcare decisions. So responsibilities like, who's looking after your long-term care? Is it safe for you to live where you're living? Do you need to move? Do you need the care of the CLSC or maybe a private nurse? Who will accompany you to your doctor, set your medical appointments, who's going to have access to your medical files. And importantly, who will make your emergency medical decisions if you're not able to communicate with your doctor?
Well, Nadia, we're going to expand on some of those examples so we clearly understand the difference. And we have to head out to traffic, but I want to do a scenario. When we come back, a couple wants to sell their house. We'll use this example, but one of the two has been diagnosed with dementia for several years now. Can they sell the house with only having a power of attorney in place? So we want to discuss this issue. I think you'd be surprised with the answer when we come back with Nadia Derigi. But first, let's head out to the CJD Traffic Center with a traffic update with Mark Chaloub.
Well, we have ourselves a fresh stall. Met West at St. Denis, left lane sitting duck, no protection. Eastbound Met towing up at St. Croix. History feeling it from Côte de Liesse. Both sides of the Dakar Expressway jam-packed, as is the 20 East, anchoring out to Turcotte, where you cannot take the 136 East. Closed from that point to the Notre Dame and de la Cathédrale on-ramps until Tuesday, 5 a.m. Also boarded up until then. 13 North, Hickmore to the 40. 13 South from the 40 to the 520 West on-ramp, losing about 30 and 20 minutes respectively, north and southbound 13. Inbound La Fontaine, good news, the two left lanes reopened after that earlier towing up. Outbound La Fontaine, of course, it's backing still to Anjou with the single lane closed until the end of the year. 20 East exit for the Mercier locked all weekend as well. Get 20 times the points now until Sunday at Farmer Prix when you load your offers with the PC Optimum app. Restrictions apply. See digital coupon for details. Your next report at 4:03.
Intermarché Palumbo is a local, independent supermarket fully engaged in your community, providing exceptional service and value with fresh produce and meats at great prices and an international assortment of products. Come experience their stores. There's one near you. MarchéPalumbo.com.
Coming up on Weekends with Ken.
On our Sunday morning together, he sings Sinatra like nobody else, and his tribute to the legend hits Montreal in a few days. We'll tell you all about it at 7:10. Dr. Christopher Labos at 8:10 on the clinics on the way here in Quebec for COVID long haulers. And 30 years ago today, May 22nd, 1992 was a big day in TV history. We'll look back at that at 8:20.
The latest news and a whole lot more. Weekends with Ken. Saturday and Sunday mornings, 6 to 9 with Ken Connors. News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Is living at home more difficult, or are you concerned about your parents' well-being? Lianas Senior Transition Support provides guidance in finding the ideal options in home care and seniors' residences. Solutions are available to you right now, including immediate care and urgent relocation.
Hi, I'm Matt Del Vecchio. Call us for a free, no-obligation consultation at 514-622-8074 or look us up at Lianas Senior Transition Support. That's Lianas Senior Transition Support.
With tax deadline fast approaching, it's time to get your receipts and paperwork organized. The Epson Rapid Receipt Scanner is the only product on the market specifically designed for organizing and managing your business receipts and invoices. You can quickly and easily process them, then accurately export them into your favorite accounting software. It even has the ability to automatically create searchable and editable PDFs. This tax season, get receipt relief with Epson Rapid Receipt Scanners, available at select retailers and epson.ca.
With Air Transat Summer Vibes seat sale, you can fly to Europe for as little as $679. Discover the Italian countryside, the ocean, the gondolas, and
this is so beautiful.
All the best restaurants in Lyon, the charcuterie, cheese, the wine.
Oh, this is so good.
And Spain's breathtaking beaches.
Wow.
Honey, can we just enjoy it?
Yep, all good.
Fly to Europe for as little as $679. Book by May 23rd at airtransat.com. Conditions apply. Air Transat. Vacation is calling.
How can you be sure you're making the best choice when you're buying a car? That's easy. Just pick a Mazda. Because when you decide to experience the driving pleasure of a Mazda 3, the versatility of the Mazda CX-3, the agility of a CX-30, or the refinement of a CX-5, you're making a best pick according to the experts at Protégé Vous. You're also choosing the performance of Mazda's fuel-efficient Skyactiv engine. Get behind the wheel of a Protégé Vous best pick. Visit your Mazda dealer today.
Renovco has been Montreal's leader in renovation and restoration services since 2001. As they expand, they would like to invite you to join their team of designers, general contractors, and renovation tradespeople. If you are skilled, conscientious, and appreciate the level of quality that Montrealers have come to expect over 2 decades, then you are what Renovco is looking for. For a competitive salary and excellent working conditions, apply today. All trades welcome at hr@renovco.com. That's RENOVCO.com.
If you need a new mattress, there's no better place and no better time than now during Matelas Bonheur's Tempur-Pedic mattress sale, where you'll save big on all Tempur-Pedic queen and king size mattresses, plus 2 free Tempur down pillows valued at $500. Visit matelasbonheur.ca for details.
Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Lianas Senior Transition Support, helping you navigate home care and senior residences.
Welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Corey Sirota, along with my co-host Matt Del Vecchio, and I just love that song, so I let it go long. Because we are talking about, in our segment on helping moms and dads this afternoon, we are talking about being prepared, which is about a lot of the important information about wills, why wills, what do we need to know about wills, and thankfully to the support and guidance of Nadia Derigi, notary Nadia Derigi, we're getting some, hopefully you're taking some notes here and getting some good information. So I'm going to put out the scenario. Here we go, to just kind of help us understand it perhaps better. A couple wants to sell their house. One of the two has been diagnosed with dementia for several years now. Are they able to sell the house with only having a power of attorney in place?
So that's a question that I get quite often here. And so I should start by saying, yes, if they have a power of attorney, we want to know, who's contacting us on their behalf. And the first thing we're going to do is see if this client with dementia is capable. So we can assume that with a diagnosis of dementia, this person is not capable, and therefore the power of attorney cannot be used. So no, with a power of attorney, someone with dementia cannot sell their house. They would have to use their mandate. And so as we said earlier, the mandate can only be used if it is homologated or recognized as official by the courts. So they won't be able to sell their house without having the mandate homologated, without having the necessary medical and psychosocial evaluations done. We want to make sure that their wishes are being respected, that their mandatory is representing them, that the mandatory is willing to act. So all of that has to be put in place before the home is sold.
It's quite amazing, Natty, to hear this. And as you know, my wife Stephanie is a real estate broker, and so often we hear this. And it's a shock to families. No, I'm good. I've got the power of attorney. When in fact, in the cases where of dementia, Alzheimer's, unfortunately, you are usually not apt. And even if you're in a relationship with a husband or a wife, as an example, you would still have to go through that homologation process. So it is a little shock to the system. All the more reason to talk to your notary about your options. Now, Nadia, we heard on the first half of when you came on, almost 50% of people do not have wills. 1/3 of people 35 and over have not updated their wills. Some mind-boggling statistics, yet those are the stats. Let's put our psychology hats on here a bit, Nadia. Why do people put things off?
That's a good question. I don't know. I ask myself that. But I really just think that people, none of us really like to think about the possibility of being in a vulnerable position. We don't like the thought of death or of sickness. And thinking about these documents forces us to have the tough conversations. But, what's worse than having the tough conversations is having something happen and not being prepared. So I think we have to remember that it's easier to sit down now and really think about these things as opposed to putting them off and leaving everything to chance.
Everything to chance. And also, I always hear, I don't want the government choosing for me. And that's another factor, to chance and having someone else making decisions on your behalf.
Right, and decisions that maybe we would not have made for ourselves.
Okay, you've convinced me. Well, I already have wills, but if somebody is listening and they don't, and now they are convinced, okay, I hear you, I really need to go out and do a will. Let me ask you, basics. How do they go out and do it? What's the process?
So the first step is to call a notary and to take an appointment so that you can sit down with them, explain to them what you want to have done. They're going to go through a series of questions with you, maybe point out things that you would not have thought about. And then the notary is going to draft the documents for you, and you'll go back to read through them and sign them.
And you know, Nadia, and we're talking with Notary Nadia DeRigi about why it's so important to update our legal documents as we age. And you mentioned go to a notary. You can do it on your own, okay? Full transparency. But I know I've seen firsthand some people that have tried to do it on their own to save a couple of dollars, but in the long run, it cost them a heck of a lot more. So I would agree, Nadia, get to your notary and get those wills done. It's really a very simple process, and everything can be explained. I know I've had some situations, Nadia, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but can a will be contested?
Well, that's a really good question, and I guess my answer would be it's going to depend on how the will was drafted. So if it's a notarial will, the notary will verify the capacity of the person signing and their wishes. So the likelihood of that being contested is very small. In short, yes, anybody can contest your will if they feel that it was not your intention, but it's very difficult to do that with a notarial will. If you have a handwritten will, it's a little bit easier. We have to prove that was your handwriting and you had your full capacity when you were writing that document. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of factors that we look at, when we're answering that question.
All right. Well, thank you. We are already out of time here, Nadia, and we really do want to give you a big thank you. We know you're very busy, and appreciate you coming here on a Saturday on Life Unrehearsed.
It's my pleasure.
All right. That's Notary Nadia DeRigi from Lamar and DeRigi. Always very helpful words of advice. Bottom line here, get your will done. So important. All right. Corey, what do we have coming up next week?
Next week on Life Unrehearsed, this woman, she tragically lost her husband to a blood disease, and now she devotes her time and passion to the Canadian MPN Research Foundation.
With a little musical background to lead into next week.
Okay, I'm a little shocked there. And what is homologation, and what should everyone be aware of when we do talk homologation?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it today. We wanted to have sort of a two-part series here. So next week on Life Unrehearsed, we're going to dig down a little bit. What does that mean, homologation? What's involved? But as you heard, you cannot sell a house in the case of when someone's inapt and you only have a power of attorney. So we thought we'd dig a little deeper and find out a little bit more information about that. So we want to thank everyone for tuning in to Life Unrehearsed. And as a reminder, for all your inquiries or assistance with life transitions, elder care planning, and the senior living industry, be my pleasure to help. Our services are completely free with a no obligation call, and we'd love to help. Call me at Lianas Senior Transition Support, 514-622-8074, or probably best just to look up when you're searching on the web, Lianas Senior Transition Support. Many thanks to our technical producer, Luca. Great job today. And you could listen to Life Unrehearsed here on CJD 800 every Saturday at 3 p.m.
With Air Transat's Summer Vibes seat sale, you can fly to Europe for as little as $679. Discover the Italian countryside, the ocean, the gondolas, and
This is so beautiful.
All the best restaurants in Lyon. The charcuterie, cheese, the one...
Oh, this is so good.
And Spain's breathtaking beaches.
Wow.
Honey, can we just enjoy it?
Yep, all good.
Fly to Europe for as little as $679. Book by May 23rd at airtransat.com. Conditions apply. Air Transat. Vacation is calling.
When the time comes to choose a new Lexus,